Let's deal with the valley. We'll scale the same. Don't you know you got wild blood running through your veins? Don't you know you got wild blood running through your wild blood?
And welcome to Genesis Speaks.
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Genesis Speaks. My name is Ndiimanae and I'm the host of Genesis Speaks, where your new beginning begins. Okay, so today's episode comes a little bit late because, you know, your girl skipped a week without bringing you something, and well, you know, there are like excuses that I can give you, like, oh, girl was busy. Girl was busy. And I think the topic today resonates so well with why the girl did not post any episodes and why this episode is only coming out now. So, you know, we are transparent, we are open about what's going on, what's happening. And you know what, I'm always interested to learn what's happening in your lives as well. I'm not alone as per usual. I have my regular co-host. Hi, Njabulo.
Hi guys.
How are you?
I'm good. And genuinely, we are sorry for not posting anything last week. But it will make sense soon why.
Definitely. So how has your week been going? How are you doing? How's everything going?
My week has been tiring. Which I'll get into when we start talking about our reflections. But yeah, my week has been tiring, but tiring in all the best possible ways. Let me put it like this: there have been things that I've been working towards and planning for that are now all starting to come together. You know, when a plan starts to come together, guys, that feeling,
Yeah.
and everything is starting to come together just right.
Wow, okay, no. Same. So, okay, just to put, we stay together, so hands, like, we have the same. So, y'all might be wondering, like, okay, why do you guys have the same, the same thing going on? But yeah, you get the tea now. Bye.
Yes.
Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna go to the first segment of the show, which is reflecting on the topic on what they don't tell you about new beginnings. And I think it's quite very relevant to what's happening now with our lives. And I think it's we want to share with you that aspect of new beginnings and what comes with new beginnings and what they don't tell you about new beginnings. New beginnings are very exciting and yay, but okay. Anyways, let's go to the first segment of the show, reflections. You are still listening to Genesis Speaks. Catch you after the break. Charles, some of my people want to know how to start their podcast.
Have you heard about Anchor by Spotify?
Tell me more.
It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place.
Please explain.
Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
And best of all,
Anchor is totally free. And you're still listening to Genesis Speaks.
Welcome back to Reflections. So this week we're talking about what they don't tell you about new beginnings. So I'm going to start with the reflections because apparently I don't like, he's always starting. So anyways, I'm starting today. So, okay. I just want to read something I saw on the internet that just like resonates what I'm going to speak on. So it says that a new day, a new year, a new job, a new life, a new relationship, a new start. They all come to us without permission in the best and worst way. They barge in our front doors with the beautiful promise of second chance and new potential and unexpected opportunity. They also come with heartbreak because new beginnings nearly always follow endings. So this resonates to the point in life which I am, and with the topic that we are currently tackling today on new beginnings. Remember, this is Genesis Speaks anyways. So yeah, no, I think from if you look at the video that I've posted on reflections for January, you could see what happened in the past few months and all of that shenanigans. But in the past few months as well, things have been like going well, and there's been quite a lot of new beginnings. I'm not going to get into details of other new beginnings, but I'll just get to what I want you guys to hear anyways. So the new beginnings for my new beginnings rather, sorry about that, my new beginnings rather consisted with me moving to a different place, starting over, and now I'm moving again, and I'm not moving alone. So it's been quite hectic, honestly, trying to find a place that is like affordable and that is like nice, and where you think, okay, this is gonna be like a good home as well,
and not in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, not in the middle of nowhere. So it's been quite stressful. Like, I don't know, I feel like I should like also just rant to you guys how racism, guys, still exists in our country. It's systematic racism. It's just like a lot. So we've been trying to look for a place, and in a predominantly like white area, and we're like the agents in that area are like white people, and like there's this first place that I was like, this is my ultimate, I love everything about this place, and everything was ready for us to view and everything. I'm like, okay, cool, this is it. And they just mised us, and that was not the first, not the last to mise us. And that's where we realized, oh my gosh, I think there's a level of, okay, we don't want you here, like you're just not wanted to move in this area. So for me, that was quite stressful, because yes, it's a new beginning, right? Like, we're looking and excited, but at the same time, it's heartbreaking that we still have to deal with such things in our country, wherein because of the color of your skin you can't live in certain areas. And I honestly didn't like how I felt at that moment, because just because I'm black now, I can't move in this place or in what
like, you're specifically unwanted. For the color of your skin, you are unwanted.
So that was like, okay, I'm not happy about that. But anyways, we ended up getting a place in the same area that we're not wanted, but because we had like black agents helping us, but the white agents didn't want to help us. So I was like, okay, wow. But anyways, we're going there where they don't want us, and we're gonna be flourishing there.
And rubbing it in their faces. It's gonna be great.
Rubbing it in their faces. So yeah, it's been crazy, honestly. Like, packing. Well, when you think about moving and stuff, it's exciting, but I'm gonna tell you about packing. It's a lot. I'm not gonna lie. There's just a lot of packing going on. We haven't even officially moved as of yet, as we are like posting this episode. But yeah, it's a lot. And exciting, stressful, everything in between. And it's also just an ending of, an era as well. And an ending of an era reminds me of a time when I was moving out of where I was staying. And it just was like, okay, now it's an end of an era, and it's gonna feel the same way, when we move out of here. It's an end of a certain era and beginning of something else, which is unknown. Like, it's where we're starting, it's all unknown, honestly, and we're entering into a phase of the unknown. And I'm always that girl of the unknown. I've always wanted to enter in the unknown and experiencing the unknown. I love the unknown. I don't want the known, I want the unknown. So for me, as much as it's nerve-wracking, but it's also very exciting because I'm a girl of the unknown. I just want to delve into a dimension of something I don't know. Hence, I think that's where my passion of learning new things, like, just is. Like, I like learning new things. That's where I got into data analytics, because it was not even in line with what I did in undergrad and all that, but it was just like, okay, I just want to get into the unknown. And yeah, so there's a lot to say about this whole thing. Let me just give Njabulo a chance to also reflect.
Okay, I just wanted to start by commenting on the experience of that like tacit racism. Ooh, that was okay for the people who've been listening to me speak. This is my speaking voice in real life. This is not just a performance on the podcast. Okay. This is how I talk. So now imagine I call an agent and I greet them. Hi, I just saw your property listed here, this 2-bedroom apartment. Could I maybe schedule a viewing? And then they take my number, they're excited to talk to me, and then they find out that my name is Njabulo, and they're like, oh, wait. So when I call back, all of a sudden that enthusiasm is gone, and the place is, we're not sure if it's actually available, I need to check my schedule. All of a sudden, there's just excuses, and then silence. But when they first hear me speak, oh, they're so excited. And it's like, oh, you thought I was white. That's why you're excited.
Yeah.
Like, I just, it's deeply sad to realize it, that it still kind of permeates so much of South African culture, that old racism. I want to reflect specifically on something a bit strange with regards to what they don't tell you about new beginnings. I'm not entirely sure how appropriate this would be for me to mention, but new relationships. Now, they might be a good idea, definitely might be a good idea for some. But what you don't realize is when forging the path into new relationships, there's certain relationships in the past that do not work well with those new ones. And so those ones from the past will, more times than you realize, have to fall away. What people don't tell you is new beginnings with new people sometimes means giving up the old people. And that's just kind of the way the world works. You find a new circle of friends, they might not gel well with your old circle. So, on to the new. And no one really prepares you for that, for having to create that distance or those boundaries or those limitations for the old. But you have to if you're going to properly explore the new.
Interesting. So I'm just going to read this poem I see on this article. It says that this is the beginning. Almost anything can happen. This is where you find the creation of light, a fish wriggling onto land, the first word of paradise lost on an empty page. Think of an egg, the letter A woman ironing a bare stage as the heavy curtain rises. This is the very beginning. I love this. I love this because it says almost anything can happen. And as I said, I'm a girl of the unknown. Anything can happen. That is exciting for me. I don't know. Anything can happen. And when they say anything can happen, could mean good or bad. And that's what I'm always ready for. I'm always ready to experience all and everything. And I think that was what the first episode or like of the year actually, wherein I was speaking about the journey, that now for me it's more about experiencing everything and everything, literally not taking things too seriously but just experiencing it. I just want to experience it without having to worry like when about money, about like a job, or about, I don't want to worry about anything. I just want to experience. If now it's like hunger, well, experience hunger. If it's wealth, well, experience wealth. If it's whatever, just experience it. So I like the fact that it says almost anything can happen. What do you think? What are your thoughts about anything happening?
Firstly, I'd like to say that there's this one quote that I thought was really striking. In a universe that is infinite in size and infinite in time, everything is possible and everything will eventually happen. Mm-hmm. Nothing is impossible. If you're dealing with infinity as the realm of possibility, then that means anything will happen. Everything will happen eventually. It will happen. Period.
So what are your thoughts on anything happening?
That is for me genuinely terrifying. No, I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those people who likes to know what's going on. I like to have enough knowledge to control the outcome of things. Ndee knows me. I get very anxious very easily. I'm very sensitive to not knowing things. I'm afraid of the unknown. And this is one of those unknowns that we're now approaching. And it's one of those kinds of anxieties that, if I'm being honest, if you do have that same kind of fear of the unknown, get over it, kind of. I'm trying not to be rude about it, but you are going to need to get over it if you're going to live life. Because you will never know everything. You will never know enough to control for every single outcome. You never will. Ever. So just push down that anxiety and go out and explore.
Definitely. I think that is what I've been preaching, that go out and explore. I've also been an overthinker in the past and wanting to also control everything and probably need to know what's going to happen next week, tomorrow, whatever. And I realized that doesn't really work because I'm more focused on what tomorrow is bringing, what next year is bringing. What about now? Like, now I have food, so why am I worrying what if tomorrow I'm going to not have food or not? Tomorrow I'll see what happens tomorrow when tomorrow is happening. At this point, I just need to enjoy the food I have now without thinking about tomorrow. Because now I'm going to think about tomorrow and not eat and put the food and then it's going to rot. I'm not going to eat the food anymore because it's going to rot. So why not just enjoy the food now while I have the food? So I'm a firm believer on the unknown, really, and I just want to enjoy, rather, not that I don't want to know what's going to happen. I'm probably interested, but I just rather not focus on the thought of knowing and trying to pray, like, I don't know, trying to find things of that I don't know. So I'd rather just enjoy the moment and have fun in this moment. And at this time, I just want to enjoy. And I like what on this article she mentions on change. T says this change can bring about a lot of anxiety, and I think a lot of us can relate to that anxiety, especially the change we didn't initiate or ask for. And honestly, even when you're the one who quit the job or choose to leave the relationship or decide to go on a trip, when pieces of your life are shifting around, it's normal to feel a little bit out of control. It does work like
That resonates so much with me. That I feel
Yeah.
that so deeply.
Do you want to reflect on that?
Like it really is terrifying, right? And I love how she mentions, even if you're the one who did quit that job or who chose to leave that relationship, even if it was your decision, the fact that tomorrow looks nothing like yesterday can be terrifying. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Knowing that tomorrow is not going to be the same as yesterday, knowing that you can't even plan around what tomorrow is going to bring you because you've never been in this situation before. You're not used to whatever this is. Like, let's say you've been in a relationship for like 5 years or something. That ends. What are you doing tomorrow? Like, you don't know, you don't remember what it was like to just be single. Now, do
And
you?
be alone. Yeah.
Let's say you quit a job, right? And you've been employed with that company for like 5 years. Tomorrow, you're not waking up for work. Like, what does that feel like? Terrifying.
It is. It is. It really is. I think for me, it takes me back to a moment when I had to go back home, and after like being around friends and just doing my own thing, and now like I'm home, and it was just like, wow, it's not what because like now what must I do? I don't have friends at home. I don't know what to do with myself. So it was a change, and it was not a change I initiated, but that's where the anxiety came in, because I was just like, no, 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 no. But then Deborah Ward in her Psychology Today article, Coping with Change, says that, but it's not unusual to feel shocked, overwhelmed, anxious and depressed, and even fearful at the beginning. Even when we know we're about to face something new, the change can be overwhelming and unpredictable. And it's sudden lack of control over our personal environment that can lead us to feeling anxious. While the thought that we won't be able to handle the new situation can bring on feeling of depression. So, as I said, it takes me back to the time I had to go back home. It really took me back to depression in a way, because it was just like, you know what, I'm home, it's good, but no, I don't want to be here now. It's just not working for me now. I'd rather be elsewhere. I've already gotten used to my own freedom. And mind you, I struggled very much when I first left home to go to university. Like, the first few like months away was just like a lot. I was like struggling, calling my grandmother, crying and all that. And I had to go back on Easter because I was just like, you know what, I miss home. But after that moment, I just found my own wings. I was like, oh, whatever. Now I'm my own person. I have my own people. And well, home is good. You always want to go home. But like now having to like entirely go back home, I was not prepared for that. I was not.
You know what I love about what you just read is what I feel like it's missing something specific, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you are embracing change. You are ready for something new. Let's say you embrace it. But the new beginning doesn't come immediately. Like, you trigger the change, but the new start doesn't happen immediately. Like in the case of, say, quitting a job, and then you just don't find one for months. What does that do to you over time? Waiting for that new beginning.
But remember as well, quitting a job at an end of an errand is the beginning of something else. It is a beginning of something, but not what you might have initiated.
That is fair. This might not even be the beginning that you wanted. And this might be like I said, something that would cause over time maybe depression, because you are now stuck in the situation that's unwanted, undesired for an unknown amount of time, and you can't control that. You can't.
Yeah.
The most you can control is your own decision to enter into that change.
So one thing about change is not always good change. When we talk about change, it's not always the good and exciting change. Change could just be you quitting a job, and it's a new beginning, because now you're going to be looking for work, and that's a new beginning in its own. And it's not the new beginning you want, or you actually initiated, or you hoped for, but it's a new beginning. You starting a journey of job hunting all over again. It's change. It's new beginning for you. So let's look at new beginnings not only in the sense of it being a very good, like on a nicer part, like okay, an exciting, like a new job, a new relationship,
Yeah,
new
it's
house.
not always positive.
It's not always positive. New beginnings could be you going back home. It's a new beginning, but I don't want this new beginning. So hence I actually also just reflected with when I went back home. It was a new beginning I didn't want, because my kind of new beginning was me getting a job and starting my life and getting my own place, and that was the new beginning I had in mind, but it's not the new beginning that came at that time. So yeah, it's not always what you hoped for. It's not always what you want to, get. And I think that's the whole purpose of Genesis Speaks. Genesis Speaks, it's about the new beginning, and the new beginning is not necessarily good new beginning. Hence we talk about mental health, hence we talk about the ups and downs, hence we spoke about stuff like abandonment issues, like that's a new beginning in a way, because now you are in a relationship and start to realize that you actually have abandonment issues, and you actually have daddy issues that's affecting your new relationship. You actually have this unresolved issues with how you were raised, how and that is kind of like affecting your new beginning in a way, or it's your new beginning because now you are realizing that this is actually an issue, but you never thought it was, because that's how things were always like. So that's why we are Genesis Speaks. The new beginning begins today, every day. It's a new beginning.
Ooh, that's amazing.
Yes.
Sorry, just wanted so it's kind of like you're saying that new beginnings give us a chance to reflect on our own past and where we came from. It allows us to reflect on what we have in our lives,
Yes.
what we've built in our lives up to this point, and what things we should be taking with us going forward into this new beginning.
Exactly. So hence the format of Genesis Speaks is like that as well. We reflect, and we also have a way forward, kind of like, okay, what do you do? Most of the time you'd see us reading and also talking for our own experiences of, we look at articles relating to what we are reading, because most of the time it's, if we're speaking about depression, for an example, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a qualified psychologist, so I can't necessarily, give you something as a psychologist, right? I can only give you something as my own experience with depression. And while at that, I can also look for material that I can read for you and also relate to what the material is saying. So not necessarily saying that I'm endorsing the material, but we're reading what someone who is in a capacitated place is saying about certain topics of what we like discussing at the moment. So yeah, every day is a new beginning. Today is a new beginning. Tomorrow is a new beginning. Let's reflect on what this new beginning is doing into, like, what is it bringing? What questions is it bringing to your life? Kind of like, that's where you start to realize, oh, like when you're in a relationship, oh, I haven't really gotten over this part of myself. And we call that, as we spoke, abandonment issues. And oh, okay, how do I deal with abandonment issues? Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I was actually thinking a lot simpler. Like our move, it's not even that deep of a metaphor. Our move is a lot of us is us doing a lot of like stock taking of the things we have and being like, okay, this we just need to throw out, that we just need to throw out, that we just need to throw out, this needs to be fixed, that was poorly maintained, it needs to be treated better. We are noticing all of the stuff in the apartment for the first time and taking stock of it very, very seriously because we have to now going to this new place.
Yeah, no, that's a good analogy about like just to explain how this thing, like what I was explaining now.
Yeah.
Really, like us now going through everything's like, okay, now, okay, this you need to sell because like, what do you have this now?
Yeah, it's like, okay, we can sell this. This is actually broken, so we just need to throw it away. This
Yeah.
is broken, but we can fix it still. Like, you take stock of everything, and in the new beginning, it does kind of force you to take stock of everything.
So the article goes on and says change is hard even when it's really good for us. So it says, and that's the second thing that is really great to remember about change, especially when we are in the middle of it, is that it's good. It's natural, it's normal, it's part of life. It's really good for us. Without change, we are stagnant and we don't grow. We become complacent and we get bored. We don't have tension and conflict. We need to become who we were always meant to be in this life. Life in its own, I think it's quite boring without challenges, honestly. And I don't know, people that just want a straight looking life with no kind of stress, like that would be so boring. So change is good, even though you might think it's not good for you, but there's certain things that in that change you are going to learn about yourself that you didn't know, or new things just to learn altogether, honestly.
One of the things that we've been doing lately is going to art museums and galleries, and I can definitely see it in a lot of artists' works that the challenges that they had to face in life, the changes that were even maybe bad from their experience, redefined how they engaged with their art. It changed the way they work, and it made them more complex as creatives. I think that's where this line, we do not have the tension and conflict we need to become who we were always meant to be in this life. That tension, that conflict that life brings you, it helps you grow. Like in the case of these artists who grow from the tension and conflict of life, from the struggle of life, they draw inspiration, they draw power from that.
You know what I like as well? I like that analogy, like when motivation speakers always speak about it, because it's quite good. I don't like motivation speaking. Y'all, you should know this about me now, but I like that analogy they use as well. They use this analogy on gold, like for gold to become this nice accessory or a ring or whatever, it needs to be put on fire, like tension, and for it to become loose and for them to play around with it, like they have to put it on, like in the fire rather. I don't know that you know about that saying, like when the gold needs to be put in the fire,
Yeah.
for it to like.
And then it burns away the impurities as well as they rise to the top.
Yeah, definitely. And also, that's how they shape the gold to be a jewelry, to be a necklace. It has to go into the fire. So that's tension, that's conflict. And as human beings, it's not as beautiful. Like, it's just a stone, and it's not beautiful. It's like it's a stone. Obviously it's valuable, just like you are valuable, but at that point it's not making sense yet. But once the tension comes into that stone and it melts it, and they can start carving it into something beautiful that is desirable, and that everyone looks at it and I'm like, wow, I like that, I want to buy that. That's what gold is. And I think that's, in general, life is all about, making and helping you to go into where you're meant to be. And that is through challenges, that is through the tension, that is through conflict. If you embrace the conflict, if I'm assuming gold embraces, the stone itself embraces the conflict and the tension and the fire, and it melts and it allows its molder to mold it, then it becomes, what the molder wants it to become, and desirable. Already it has value. So you have value, as I said, but you just need to have the tension and the conflict that allows you to go where you are meant to be in life.
So it sounds like unlocking that potential, the potential that you actually have, requires a certain amount of conflict, of tension.
Yeah, definitely.
That we can't really grow into our full potential without that conflict, without change, which is, I guess, never easy, but we have to always remember that change provides us the opportunity to grow.
Definitely. Change gives us an opportunity to grow in many ways. And as I said, change is not always the good change. It could be you going broke. You already become very creative with how you buy things or where you can get certain things and all that. And that is change, and it's taking you to a certain place and making you understand things that you never understood. You can't just want to be doing the same things, the same kind of things all the damn time. No, but you going broke, you having to face certain situations, they make you creative. And by being creative, that's where you learn certain things that you never knew you can do. You learn how to budget, you learn how to create new meals, you learn how to make new hacks, you learn a lot of things. So that is part of change. And if you're just going to have a great life, that you don't go through certain tension and conflict in your life, then it won't give you anything to learn as well, or unlock the value that is already inside of you. Yes, you're an artist, but for you to unlock the artistry, you need to have the tension and conflict. But if your life is just straight, nothing's going on, where you going to get the inspiration to draw or to paint art? You get the inspiration through the ups and downs of your life.
Definitely. Both the positive changes and the negative changes, you can draw a lot of inspiration from. I paint myself, and I painted these two paintings which are reflections of each other. And the one is of my own depression, and the other is of me now looking up from the depression and finding hope. And these are changes in mental states. These are changes in my mental health reflected on canvas. Change is, if you know how to harness it, always good, even if the scenario or the situation feels bad.
Rebirth and change are necessary to our lives. The clinical definition of death is cessation of change. If one is not changing, one is dying. Any practice or framework that is not curious and novel stands with its feet in concrete, which may be the definition of any form of fundamentalism. This is Pittman. I can say the same.
McGahey? I don't know.
Something along this. It comes from the spiritual journey from biography to autobiography. So I like this part. Can you read it for me?
The clinical definition of death is cessation of change.
Definitely. So when there is no change, then it means you are dead.
That is very powerful. I mean, because, and I don't want to get too nitty gritty or technical here, but if say something doesn't grow, it doesn't move. Growth is change of mass and size, right? Movement is change of position. If nothing changes about an object at any one point, then it is dead.
Definitely.
You have to be willing to embrace change, or else are you actually alive?
I think there's this a question people always ask, like, when do you feel most alive? I think I should ask that question to you. When do you feel most alive?
Ooh, that one's tricky. When do I feel most alive? In brand new places. It's, I don't know why, but it's always specifically in a brand new place. Yet funnily enough, I do not do enough exploring. But yeah, brand new places.
For me, I feel most alive in challenges, really, because that's the wake up call for me. Like, mostly, I don't like to be comfortable. The moment I start to feel, I'm really comfortable, I get worried that why am I too comfortable? So I don't want to be comfortable because then I'm not trying to like look for change or look for a different challenge. I'm always up for new challenges, and I feel most alive when like there's a challenge and it's just like, wow, this is a lot. That's when I feel most alive, because that's where I have to push myself, pick myself, and put myself together and try to bring myself to believe that this too shall pass. I got this. I have this. I got this. I got this. So I feel so alive when I'm going through a challenge. So it says, if you're really in a hard season right now, the good news is that change is coming. I know this is like, I'm reading now, but I know this is very cliche of like change is coming. And it is, it might not be the change that you want, but change is coming. And when change does come, you will leave this hard season with who you have become in the midst of it. And that's what I like as well with hard seasons. That's why I feel most alive in difficult situations, because there's a lot of things I learn about myself and I take out of that situation. I think it was through me not getting a job that I realized, oh shit, I have knowledge on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and this could be my shit. This could be something I make money out of. But had I not had that, I was not going to look at that as an opportunity. But most opportunities, I saw them through my hardships, through when I was going through situations. So hence I try not to look so much into the hardship and focus on the hardship, but I would like to focus on what should I do, what must I do in this situation, than crying and sulking about, oh, like I don't have food tomorrow, so what's gonna happen, wow. I don't focus on that. I focus on what should I do, what's my next my next move, kind of. So do everything you can right now to become the person you want to be when your circumstances get a little better. I think that's what you mentioned sometime about, becoming a better person now.
Oh. No. Like, it's all about working towards becoming the person you were meant to be. All of the struggles, all of the challenges, each and every one of them, effectively, whether you know it now, provides you the opportunity to change and become the person that you want to be. I know that, and this is just my personal testimony, I went from IT to retail to real estate to graphic design and now fine art. Have no idea what any of these things have to do with each other, but I am constantly redefining myself. And you have to be willing to. At this point, that should be normal. Change is normal. Embrace it. Yes, it's terrifying if you have anxiety issues like me. It's terrifying, but always be ready for change. Always be ready to do it. Push down that anxiety, that fear. Change. Always change. And always make sure that you're changing in the ways you want to. You are moving just slightly closer to the goal you want.
Definitely. And again, if you're in a really good season right now, enjoy every moment, every minute of it, every second of it. Soak it up, because no season lasts forever. I think that's a great reminder that no season lasts forever. So you're not going to be in this good season forever, but every season has its own purpose. So if it's good, enjoy the good, but you know what I'm saying? Uh, 3 things to remember about new beginnings. This is from the article. First, remember the feeling you are starting with nothing is simply not true. So she says, I mentioned at the beginning of this article the idea of staring at a blank page with a blinking cursor. And the truth is, even when I begin to write a new book, I don't need to begin with nothing. I come to a page with invisible libraries of knowledge, experience, research, understanding, essence, personality, and a voice. You are not starting with nothing in this new year. You're starting with you, the most important thing you could have, and all you need to begin. I think I resonate this so much with, because that is how I started my year. I didn't think about starting the year with nothing, but I started with the year with myself, and that is the most important thing. I've always got myself, and I was like, you know what? I start this year with you, baby, and you've always got you, baby. So this is your year, baby. You have to do it with you, honey. So, child, I don't know. What do you think?
Oh no, I can definitely relate to this. It's actually amazingly hilarious. Guys, I want to say this. I am not technically qualified for any of the jobs I worked in, except retail maybe. Just zero technical qualifications for any of them. But I have the skills. I walked in with me, as in just me. And you really need to understand that sometimes, actually more times than you'd realize, having your wits about you and being you is enough. More times than you know, it is enough.
So remind yourself, I have everything I need to begin. You have everything you need. So don't worry about things. You have everything you need.
Yeah, if you need a new beginning, go get it. And second, while you can acknowledge the feeling like you don't know where to begin, it might help to remind yourself that nobody knows exactly where to begin when they're starting somewhere new.
Definitely.
It might seem like everyone else in your life has incredible clarity about their purpose, their plan, and their intended outcome in this new season. Meanwhile, you're fluttering around just trying to get off your couch, but that simply is not the case. I know, because I talk to people all the time who are the most confident, accomplished, organized, efficient, productive, happy people I know, who admit, when they get really honest, that they do not know for sure exactly where they are going or what they're trying to do. Nobody does. We're all just doing our best, feeling around in the dark.
Definitely. No one of us knows what we're doing, and I think that is one thing I can tell to my younger self at the point in time when I had to go back home, that, you know what, no one has it together. Everyone is just literally just trying and putting a show as well. And I, growing older, realized that, you know what, also you can put a show, but just also enjoy every moment of everything. Soak in it and just enjoy the ride. Could be bumpy and could be rough, and it can also be smooth. So however, just enjoy the entire ride of it all. And it says that going forward, it says, of course there are ways to gain more clarity. She mentions that she provides resources to the effect in the end of the article, to the point but the point is, nobody just gets clarity or direction without really fighting for it. So that's the reason resonates to me as well. Clarity. There are moments where I just stand still and like, okay, I need clarity. There are moments like that in my life where I'm just not sure where I'm going. I just pause and I need clarity. Where should I go? Like, what should I do now? What is it? So there are times where I just also meditate on clarity and direction. And I think that was past few months. I was doing that, clarity and direction. And that was my aim. Clarity and direction. And I didn't have everything together. I still don't have. But, you have everything you need to begin. And that is what I also used when I started the NPO, Youth Evolve. It was, I had everything I need to begin. I had the knowledge. I don't have the money, but I have the knowledge. I have the wealth of knowledge and skills that I can use to start this. I have everything I need to begin. So
When I start to get myself worked into the I don't know where to start frenzy, I remind myself of a phrase a friend repeated to me at a conference this past year. It has become a mantra for me. It's technically 3 phrases linked together, and while it's been attributed to several different people, as best as I can tell, it was first said by a man named Arthur Ashe. It goes, start where you are, use what you have, do what you can.
finally, this has been my mantra, honestly. So ever since I started Youth Evolve, I start where you are. I think you would hear some of this words being mentioned in my past episodes as well. Use what you have, do what you can. And the last one is really like what I did. Do what you can with what you have. That's what I would say. Do what you can with what you have. This, this is life at the end of the day, and you don't have everything together. Just kind of do what you can with what you have. Start where you can. Start where you are. Like, where you are right now is exactly where you are supposed to be. So start where you are.
Can I just add one thing here? Mm-hmm. Once you've found your intent, the rest is made up. I promise you the rest you will make up along the way once you have defined what you intend on getting.
Definitely. So there's a phrase that goes, wherever you go, there you are. And in seasons where there is so much newness for me, that it can be a little unsettling, I try to remind myself of that phrase for 2 reasons. First of all, because it is comforting reminder that no matter what happens to me, no matter what I lose, or what I gain, what I have left at the end of the day is the person I'm becoming. Change is not easy. It is slow and steady, and I don't know how to read this word, and
arduous,
painful most of the time, but real change inside change is lasting. No matter where you go in life, no matter what you have or don't have, what can never be taken from you is who you are becoming. And the second reason I try to keep this close at heart is because it is a reminder not to numb the pain away or to make decisions out of my conscience or character. Because at the end of the day, while my circumstances are always changing, what stays the same is me, the version of myself that I get to carry into the newness of tomorrow. And that one small reminder helps me even in the unpredictability of life. I relate to this so much. Even in the season of newness and change, I hope it helps you too. Happy new beginnings. So happy new beginnings to everyone that is listening, honestly. I think the part that resonates so much with me is this part that says, and that one small reminder that helps me even in the this part, I think it's the part, while my circumstances are always changing, what stays the same is me. And I remember some years back, I did release an episode that speaks of New Year. It was a new year, and there's a new year with new year, new me kind of thing. But I was like, okay, it's a new year, but it's still you. You needed you in the previous year. Like, what you can't discard is the you that you had in the previous year. You can say, yeah, new year, new me. So you kind of discarding what happened in the previous year, in that sense. Rather not discard the you that you had, because the you that you had in the previous year taught you certain things. The challenges that you had to go through taught you how to budget, taught you how to think better, how to manage money, how to look for work. I don't know. You learned a lot of things, even though it was not an ideal setup for you to learn, but the you then learned, and you still need the you even in the new year.
You know what I love about what you just said is how it so perfectly relates to what's said in the article earlier, that change is not starting on a blank page.
Definitely.
It's not a blank page. A new beginning is not a blank page. A new beginning, you are bringing still with you volumes of knowledge, volumes, libraries
Exactly.
of past experience is being brought with you on the previous pages. There are previous pages. And your
Exactly.
book is not being done written.
Definitely.
You still have many more pages to write.
Definitely. And so that's fitting for us to go to the lesson mean of the show, which is gratitude.
And you're still listening to Genesis Speaks.
Welcome back to gratitude. I think this week's gratitude just speaks more to like the topic of the day for me, really. The new beginning, and the new beginning that is exciting, and the change that is quite exciting, the unknown. I'm grateful for the unknown. I'm grateful for this new beginning, honestly, because I've been discovering a lot also about myself, and I like discovering myself. I like learning things about myself, capabilities, what I'm capable of. I'm just, it excites me. So I'm grateful for this new beginning. I'm grateful for provision. I'm grateful for life, and I'll always be grateful for life, because when you're alive, then it means change can happen. But when you're dead, then change is gone.
I am grateful for, firstly, being in great company. Now that you guys know we live together, I'm grateful for the opportunity to take stock of the past. Like, it's very strange, having to pack up an entire apartment and just being able to take a look at all of the things from my past, the things I want to keep. I'm actually grateful for having something like moving to force me to do that, that kind of deep spring clean. And I'm grateful for the chance to start again, to start afresh, to start anew with only the things that I want and need, and the chance to do away and put aside those things I don't anymore.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you so much for that. And guys, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Happy new beginnings, and we'll catch you next time. I don't know when, but we'll catch you next time. Bye.